Hey guys, Chris here. Yup, it's been a minute, hasn't it? Well, we've got lots to share with you, so let's roll that intro and get you caught up. Now that summer's over and things have slowed down a bit, we've got a lot in store to share with you. There's the pedal box install, shop upgrades, drilling and riveting panels, upgrade of the fuel filter, PTFE fuel lines, engine prep, brake lines, steering rack.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes.
No, Pastor Shirley, hold on, it's still too early. Look, let's at least get to Halloween, then you can go nuts, okay? Man, that lady really loves Thanksgiving. Okay, so in this episode we're going to focus on the pedal box install, and we'll talk a little bit about some upgrades we made to the shop. First, I'm going to prep and paint some parts and let them dry as we build the pedal box.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You'll see Tyler marking and using a center punch for the switch mounts. If you don't know what a center punch is, it creates a little dimple in the middle, so the drill bit stays in place or doesn't walk when you are starting the hole. Next, modification to the master cylinders needs to be made. The manual calls for 5/8 to be cut off each of the threaded shafts of the master cylinders. Once they were cut, I hit the ends with the sander to smooth out any burrs left behind. Steve then put the plastic angled inlet adapters on and tightened those hose clamps. Next, we screw the foot pedals to the assembly. These pedals have a lot of bite and should grip nicely. The switch mounts were then installed and the switches were screwed in place with the supplied hex nuts. Now we're going to install the master cylinders to the assembly. Once those are installed, Steve is going to attach the threads into the pushrod mounts. The brake pedal has two separate master cylinders, one for the front brakes and one for the rear, and are connected through a balance bar. We'll get all of that set up later, but you can learn more about balance bars by reading the 65 Coupe build manual. Now he's going to install the brake line adapters into the end of the master cylinders. These will need to be adjusted once we mock up the hard lines to the cylinders. Next, we'll place the pedal box assembly in the driver's foot box. Once the box is set, we'll install the pedal box top mount that you saw me paint up earlier. So we forgot to do this for the inlet adapters before drilling the holes for the top mount, but make sure you tape off the inlets to prevent metal shavings from getting in them when drilling. So next is everyone's favorite part, modifications to brand new parts to make them fit the 65.
You're joking. Not another one?
Yep, another one. But just like the spindle we had to mod for the rear suspension, you just need to take your time and plan it out. So the reason for this mod is the accelerator pedal won't fit in the foot box in its current state, so a few pieces need to be cut off. First, this mounting point needs to be cut off. Here's another angle of the first piece that needs to be cut off. There's a little overhang that needs to be trimmed. That's difficult to see in this picture, and it'll be a little clearer once I show you the final product. Next are these little lobes around the mounting points on the other side of the pedal. The point at which they end made it pretty easy to know where to cut. Here's the piece that we talked about earlier that needs to be cut off. And finally, these little nubs that need to be shaved off.
Where's the nub? Where is the nub?
So you'll see me using an oscillating tool to remove these pieces of plastic. This worked really well, as it cut like a knife through butter. If you're going to go this route, make sure you take your time because once that blade warms up, it will move fast. Once the mounting point was cut off, you'll see me trimming up that little overhang piece, which Factory 5 called webbing in the Coyote install manual. If this is left on, it could affect the ability to mount the pedal where we want it, so I shaved this off without going too far. Now I'm shaving off the nubs. These do have metal sleeves in them, so I made sure to use a metal blade. Finally, I went on to trim up the lobes. Again, I made sure to take my time as I only have one shot at this. Also, this doesn't need to look super pretty as it will be hidden, so I just made sure there were no sharp edges. Here's what it looks like all trimmed up. So we need to make one more mod to the pedal. It's a little too long in its original state, so we'll need to flip it around, then cut off the excess mounting plate. You'll see me make the appropriate marks, then cut that plate down. Again, take your time, measure twice, cut once. Alright, now onto the fun stuff, the shop upgrades. We have a ton of unused wall space, so we decided to put up a few banners. Some from part suppliers we're using, our favorite sports teams, and some pretty interesting stuff we found on eBay.
Ah! A clock!
Something else we wanted to do was create some extra space to work in, and the body of the car was taking up a lot of that. So we decided to put it upstairs. We had our work cut out for ourselves, as we had to squeeze it through this narrow doorway. Yeah, it probably went how you thought it would.
What are we doing? Are you touching it?
Pivot! 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 Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Just kidding. We were able to get this up and tucked away before anyone had a chance to get ruffled. Remember that little snafu with our HVAC system in episode 3?
What's happening?
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, it finally died. We didn't want to spend too much replacing it, so we got this Mr. Cool system, and it's been working great for us. So a lot of people have been asking us about our grid lighting system in the bays, and this particular system is from a company called Hyperlite. So you've probably seen a lot of these hexagon lighting systems on eBay, on Amazon, in shop videos on YouTube. They're definitely a popular style these days, but this particular system from Hyperlite is definitely one I'd recommend. I don't want to go specifics into pricing just because it could change between now and the time that you watch this video, but very competitive for what you get. Color temperature is 6500K, so pretty bright white light, definitely the type of light you would want in a shop environment. Since we don't plan on being in the shop forever, we wanted to make these lights easily removable. And one of the things that we did was we ran these through a wireless switch. So you'll see a little controller here on that power brick. That's what controls the lights in this bay. And that controller is from a company called Zoiinet. So you'll see the wireless switch here. And you can mount this up to 300 feet away. So you have a lot of flexibility on where you want to mount this. Acts like a normal light switch, down for off, up for on. So we have those in the bay to the left and the bay to the right. Additionally, this switch works seamlessly with Alexa and Google Home, giving you voice control and scheduling options. Both of these products have been fantastic, so I'll be sure to include links to them in the video description. On the next episode, we'll review how we prepped, drilled, and riveted some of the many sheet metal panels that are part of this build. We'll show you the methods we used, some specialty tools that helped us along the way, and I'll explain what these goofy looking things are. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.